hello, Luke. Me and Barry, I'm a poet, performance poet, and I've been living in Holland now for 10 years, and last year I was diagnosed as having lockdown cancer. That was cancer of the esophagus, and I was taken into hospital to have the cancer removed. During the first 2 days I underwent 4 operations, and during one of the operations my heart was stopped for 20 minutes, which is very hard to believe, and but it really happened. And during that time, after the operations, I was in a coma for a couple of weeks, and then
Just a question. While your heart was not beating, did they keep your system going? Did the hospital put some machine on?
I don't really know what happened. You know, I'm still asking questions about this. I think they kept trying to resuscitate me. Yeah, as I was saying, I woke up after a couple of weeks. But it's really hard to describe what happened, because it was just a nothingness which was so it's impossible to describe. It was not even a darkness or a blackness, it was just nothing, except for 1 or 2 dreams or visions that I had during that period of time. I can't recollect in what chronological order they were in, but I will try to describe 2 or 3 of those. I still find it very emotional to talk about it, but the first one, the most intense vision or dream, was I was in a sort of desolate landscape and walking towards a city, a really beautiful city, a sort of medieval fairy tale type place. Then when I reached the city, I walked through many rooms full of beautiful rugs and paintings, and then I remember going to outside again to the rear of the city, and I came across a graveyard, and there was a freshly dug grave there, and then, well, everything disappeared and I was back into a blackness. And the second vision or whatever, I was back in India, and I was really back in India. I could like the taste, that special smell and the heat and the smells from the spices and the different. If you haven't been to India, you can't really understand what I'm saying, but I was there, I was back there, and I went to see a sadhu, and this sadhu had made a statue of me, and he was cutting away pieces of this statue, and very, very slowly he was talking to me, but I can't remember what he was saying. And just as he was about to cut away the last piece of the statue, again there was total blackness and nothingness.
Okay, Barry, you obviously have used things like LSD or whatever. Was this dream or vision or final memory? Was this similar to doing a trip with some kind of?
No, it was something completely different. I mean, in the 60s, I took quite a bit of hallucinogenics, but there was nothing comparable, because it was, when you're on a trip, you'll know you're tripping. You know that the things you see are not really there. They're just hallucinations. But this was so real. I mean, especially the Indian one, the taste and the smell. It was like I was back in India. I don't think it was, you can compare it to taking hallucinogenics at all. I suppose the nearest, maybe you could compare it to an opium dream.
Would you say this has changed your idea about afterlife?
I believe there was an afterlife before that, but I didn't believe. My belief was sort of, okay, there's something there, but I couldn't really formulate it into words. Now I'm not sure whether these visions or dreams that I had were visions of an afterlife. But what was important was, after I woke up from the coma, this was, when I woke up, I was totally paralyzed and nearly blind, and I could only move my eyes. But for about 2 weeks after that, I was surrounded all day by people who were not really there. They were ghosts. My father, my mother, my grandmother, and even the animals, what I had, were on my bed. It was as though I was being watched over, to get me through this crisis.
And would you say that you saw those things, or did you feel those?
No, I saw them. In actual fact, I had to ask people if they were real, because everything I saw was blurred. I couldn't distinguish between the doctors and nurses and these beings that I was seeing. And then they started to, I think they thought I was because I had brain damage because of this lack of oxygen and blood to my brain, they thought I was a bit crazy. So I stopped talking about it. And after a couple of weeks, these figures went away. I had the feeling that it was, you're okay, you're going to get through this now, you don't need our support anymore. That's the feeling I got from it.
Mm-hmm.
And gradually I started, after a few months, to be able to move and walk again.
Okay.
But, it's still very, I don't know, I still have to really, what I've said and told now is just a fragment. I've still got to drag it all up from my memory. I still get little flashes of things, but to be able to piece them together, and when I'm able to write again, I'm going to put it down in writing.
Yeah.
As soon as I've consolidated it all.
Yeah. It feels like what I call near-death experience, what really changed your psychological profile.
Well, what it did, I look at everything differently. I mean, I know I should be dead. The surgeon said you should be dead. Everybody said I should be dead. And when I wanted to kill myself when I first woke up, because as I said, I was totally paralyzed, nearly blind, and I couldn't, I used to be a very active person, performing all around Europe, and I couldn't see any light beyond the hospital bed, and I didn't want that. But then when people used to visit me and take me out in a wheelchair, I started noticing the trees. Let's say, for example, the trees. I'd never looked at a tree before. I'd seen them, they were there, but now I really see the trees, and I can relate more to nature, I think, and to people than I could before. I find I have more tolerance with people. Yeah, it was, I suppose you could say it was a life-changing experience. You know, but I've still not really come to terms with everything, or being able to understand everything.
Would it change your poetry, your writing?
I don't know, because I'm unable to. I've got lots of things in my head, but I can't put it down on paper because I have difficulty typing and stringing together more than 2 lines. Even if I write emails, I lose concentration after a couple of lines, and then I forget what I'm writing. So I'm just biding my time at the moment and storing things up in my head. I think it will change my writing. It'll certainly change. It's changed my way of life. Obviously, you know, there are things I can't do anymore, or I can't do as easy as I did. But I'm very impatient to see how my writing will have changed, if it has changed. I feel in my head, in my thought processes, are working differently. You know?
Well, Barry, in your poetry and in your appearances, you always came across as someone who projects a lot of ego. You know, you are there.
Yeah, I was very. I mean, that was all part of my performance and my poetry, and it was me. Now I think I'm a much calmer person than I was. And probably not as flamboyant, you know, as I was. You know, like.
Is it possible for you to look back at this experience and say, maybe this was a positive thing?
Oh, it certainly was a positive thing, you know, but as I said, you know, I've still got a lot of thinking to do about it. You know, it's very, very difficult sometimes to articulate and to speak and to get my thought processes working right. Sometimes I'm quite lucid and sometimes I'm not. So they tell me it take a couple of years before, you know, my full facilities come back.
Yeah.
So
You said, for instance, that your eyesight is less, but your smell and you also said you feel the nature more.
Yeah, I've just started to regain my taste. I mean, you know, I'm a cook, and that was a terrible thing. I couldn't taste my food. You know, after 9 months of being fed by tubes and just pap, you know. And my eyes, yeah, that is the worst thing. I mean, when I was in the hospital, they said, what are your goals? What do you want to really do when you get out of hospital? What is important to you? And my first thing was to say, to be able to read, which I can't read anymore because I can't see the letters, they're reversed, and to be able to write again, which caused a little problems with my then partner because she thought I would have said she was the most important thing, but no, the most important thing in my life has always been my writing and my performing. So, I've tried, I went to Rycord and managed 5 minutes, screwed up because my memory is not all that. But I want to carry on performing and writing. It's very important for me.
Okay, to conclude, let's try. Do you remember one of your poems?
Yes.
Yes, okay, here we go.
Small one. Cream buns, right, that's one, it's a sort of signature poem. Along the road, that road, and Spotham Road, by the stop, by the number 12 bus, lies a shop with big windows, and in the windows are shelves upon shelves of cream buns, chocolate buns, strawberry buns, mango buns, all sorts of flavour, cream covered, extensive piles upon heaps of cream buns. And next door is a charity shop. Okay.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Luke.
Today, August 2010. Thank you.